Babygirl is a erotic thriller drama film directed and written by Helena Rain. Now, she did a really great murder mystery comedy called Bodies, Bodies, Bodies back in 2022. So I want to check out this film. Nicole Kidman plays Rami. She is a high-powered businesswoman who's starting a new program, robotics, to sort of streamline warehouse organization, however, going to push out human workers. So she's a loving wife and mother of two. However, she's not quite getting it sexually. At the beginning of the film, it immediately opens with a sex scene, and she's not enjoying it. He is, but then she goes and finishes herself off after. And then the main meat of the story is basically her meeting an intern named Samuel, who starts to he doesn't immediately obey her. He starts to push her, challenge her. He intrigues her, and he picks her for a mentor program so they can spend some time together. And then a flirtation turns into a meeting, and she puts everything at risk for domination sessions. This movie's been compared a lot to 50 Shades of Grey, but I don't think that's a fair comparison. This is not just the swapped genders. This is more about her basically releasing her burgeoning sexual desires in a healthy way, but she's doing it with an affair, which is the wrong way. Either way, she starts this affair, and the large chunk of the movie is basically about them just developing their characters. He's very in tune. He's almost like an empath. He can sort of predict what people need and want, and he's getting something out of it too. However, he starts pushing her buttons and pushing boundaries, and she's not sure if it's part of the game or not. And the trailer of this movie makes it seem like it's going to be like a super stalker thriller in the vein of Fatal Attraction, but it's not. This is more kind of tame than I thought it was going to be. There is some nudity, there's a couple of sex scenes and some role play and stuff, but it's definitely on the tamer side. There's no craziness in the plot or twists or anything that goes off the rails. It kind of feels normal. You know, it's basically just about a woman having an affair, learning about herself, and then having to come to terms with it. I liked how the movie's perspective is mainly focused on Rami. Her and Samuel, I mean, she's like in every scene, so it's like almost from her perspective, and we're learning from her. She doesn't notice when other people notice either, which is great, because there's a couple of subplots in this movie that are really well done, that sort of reflect on the theme of the main sort of story. The acting's great from everyone. Obviously, Nicole Kidman is vulnerable, she's stoic, she's just wonderful in this film. She's commanding the screen in every scene. And then only matched by Harris Dickinson, who's a great new talent. He is able to match her scene for scene. He's got this sort of unnerving sort of calmness to him. I think that Antonio Banderas doesn't get enough to do. He's in the movie a little bit, but he doesn't get enough to do, really. He's kind of passive, and you know, they could have utilized him more in the third act a little bit, I feel. But overall, Babygirl is an interesting look at you know, power dynamics. There's a lot of stereotypes about dominatrixes and domination and financial domination. People don't understand it enough, and you know, this is a pretty decent representation of what happens when you're too sexually repressed and you want to unleash someday, but you can't because you're in a position of power, or you know, you're supposed to be a shining beacon of feminism or whatever, because you know, she's supposed to be hiring more women and being like the girl boss basically, and she doesn't want to, you know, anyone to know of her secret desires, which is awkward. So Babygirl is an interesting character study, a little bit on the long side, a little bit tame and safe, still intriguing for the performances and everything. So I give Babygirl a 7 out of 10.